And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
Good morning.
It is.
I would like to talk about how when I go into meditation, how good it feels. And I feel like there is, you don't know the difference between your toes and your nose, you said once.
Good.
And I love that. It feels so good. And I'm listening to it more. When I was on the stage in the hot seat in September, you had mentioned that I was getting my steps in the middle, in the wrong position, or I wasn't allowing so much.
Well, a lot of people meditate for the purpose of fixing something. So if you go into meditation with something that you're wanting to fix, you just make it harder. Where if you get to that detached state, so that you understand you've already done step 1, you've already been asking, and that the meditation process is a step 3 process where you're quieting your mind, therefore you're stopping resistance, therefore you're in the state of allowing. Then if you don't try to make it happen, if you just allow yourself to be in the receiving mode, then it works better. And so I'm being conscious about coming from that place of allowance and being connected. That's tricky, isn't it? Because the more conscious you are, the less allowing you are. Let's give you, first time, a new definition of meditation. It's a shifting of consciousness. It's a releasing of the physical, normal point of view and allowing of the broader, non-physical consciousness. Thinking about it in that way may help you, human you, get more out of the way so that the human you can be the receiver of that broader part.
Okay. I always listen to these recordings several times, and then I feel like it sinks in more.
Yeah.
So the creative, me allowing my non-physical self to...
It's interesting, isn't it? So what we're saying is the way to allow your non-physical self is to sort of detach from your physical self. You got to detach from the physical you to allow the non-physical you to step forward and be dominant. Esther had a little bit of difficulty with that just now because she was playing with you. That's why she doesn't really like to make these announcements, because she gets humanness in her head. And then it's not as easy for her to release from that, to allow that broader perspective. So it took her a little bit longer than usual because she was more engaged with you than she wants to be. You see what we're getting at?
Yeah.
The purpose of meditation is to allow the non-physical part of you to dominate. That's a good way of saying it. That's really the greatest purpose of meditation, so that the physical you steps into the background and the non-physical you steps forward. So when you say, I want to be more conscious of, we say, well, you really don't want to be more conscious of. You want to breathe that awareness into the background so that who you really are can come into the foreground. That's a good way of saying that, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. And so,
you
have a really good question in here.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. So even in this moment, it's like I feel like I'm floating and I'm going there, and then there's this.
Well, in this moment, you see, here's the thing. You're step 1 in this moment. We're step 3. So stay out of our step.
Okay.
The question and the answer are 2 different frequencies. The problem and the solution are 2 different frequencies. And if we would stop interrupting you, perhaps you could ask your question. But we just want to be clear that meditation is the activity where you step out of step 1 and you're not in step 2, and you allow yourself to be in step 3 so that step 2, that's us, can do what we do. And that's what we meant when we talked to you before about you're getting the steps all mixed up about what's what.
Okay. Feeling a little confused, but I'm certain it's going to come. There are so many things that I believe I have allowed room to happen and to experience and to say yes to. And I feel as though that is important for me to say yes in my current awareness that discerning of the yes and open is subtle and different than the knowing of creation.
Well, things are always like that in the beginning. A soft thought of yes is different than an impassioned thought of yes. And the difference is just more time with no resistance so that the momentum of it gets stronger and stronger. But as you evaluate and feel lack that it's not strong enough, it can't become stronger. So it's sort of like you want to be at peace with what it is. It has to be enough because it's all you can do at any point in time. Don't demand more of yourself relative to anything than you're able to be. It's lightening up and just letting it be and not trying so hard.
I think I hear you. And so the fact that I want to spend more and more time of my life in what I'm saying is my meditation portion, that's actually keeping me out of it expanding further?
Well, it depends on what your motive is. If you believe that meditation is the path to something and you don't believe you've made it, if I meditate, I'll get this. And since I am not getting this, then I'll meditate more to get that. Can you feel the contradiction in that? So the very effort that you're making is working against the very thing that you want because you're doing it because you don't think you're getting it. Isn't that fascinating?
It's those subtle things that are so important. To me, they feel subtle because I'm still...
What's the big deal here?
What is the big deal?
Trying to prove something, you need to be something. It's a wonderful thing to desire something. We're not trying to talk you out of that at all. But sometimes there's a yearning. If you want something and your strongest awareness is that you don't have it, then you just sort of radiate a sort of complaint to the universe. Just ask yourself, am I complaining about this? Am I dissatisfied about where I am? Because if you are, it can get better. Which seems so dumb because you got everything you wanted from your mother by complaining to her. You just wore her down. But the universe doesn't even hear you. And it's subtle, but you're complaining. So talk to us about the joy of meditation. There's no complaining in that. They've all been listening and not one of them understands what your problem is.
So what I love about meditation is that I feel connected. I feel like all of the problems just fall.
So do you feel connected to answers or detached from problems?
Both.
Yeah, but first you got to let the emphasis be on the detachment. And then with enough detachment, then the momentum about the solution starts coming. You got to just enjoy the detachment from resistance and not try to make it then jump into solutions and writing on the wall and big epic epiphanies. In other words, just enjoy the sensation of releasing resistance. That's the whole point of meditation, so that you understand the feeling of resistance-free. Because through life, you've done all the asking, and so everything that you want is already understood by your inner being, and it's already lined up for you. So you don't have to speak your request in the moment of your meditation. It's already been spoken. So when you feel detachment, you're doing the work of meditation, and that's enough. Don't try to make it more. It's like, all right, I'm going to get detached. 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 I'm good at getting detached. And once I'm detached, I'll hear stuff. Detached, 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 detached. Listen, 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 listen. Now, just chill. Just chill. Just understand that this is a step 3 moment. That's why we're saying you're step 1, we're step 2, and Esther's step 3 in this equation. You're doing the asking. We're doing the answering, and Esther's doing the allowing of the answer. So when it's just you and us, then you've done step 1 at a different time. Now do step 3. And if you're in step 3 and we're in step 2, then the clarity will come. And the more you do it, the stronger those streams of clarity will be. Have you ever looked for something and you can't find it? And then it just turns up in places you already looked? because you can't find something that is lost? There's sort of a block here. I'm not getting it. So
when I say yes, and I'm feeling the yes of the...
What are you saying yes to?
To the vibration of being connected and being in the universe and allowing. And the yes of creation, whether it's, what should I do next? Let's say that was my question.
Let's slow down here just a little bit, because right here is where the tripping place is. When I say yes to something, well, don't you want to be pretty sure what it is you're saying yes to? Some strong clarity about that. So what are you saying yes to? We want you to say yes to detachment. Yes to not thinking anything. Yes to that feeling of numbness. And that's enough.
Okay, so my contrast belief with that is I'll get nothing done because I'll be floating in this joyful, blissful...
Because you don't believe that you've already done step one. You think you got to do step one now. And that's what trips everybody up. You're so busy asking. We're not just talking about you. We're talking about humans in general. Asking for what you don't have, that you won't let what you want in because you're so dominant about what you don't have. I want it. Yes, 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 yes. But what you mean is, come on now. This thing that I don't have. Yes, this thing 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 I don't have. Yes. You got to cut it out.
When I know with clarity in those moments that I know with clarity that it is a yes. I just lost it, but
But if it is a yes, then can you allow the natural unfolding of it, or does it have to appear right now?
Wow.
Because if it has to appear right now and it isn't, then is the yes really saying yes, or is the yes saying, damn it?
There's that damn it.
Is that a complaint? Or
yay. No.
See what we're getting at?
Yeah.
In other words, this is subtle and this is really fine-tuning. But what happens is people often ask the question, so Abraham, you're making a schizophrenic. Sometimes you say, focus on what you want, talk about what you want, be a deliberate creator. And then other times you say, just chill and relax and let it be and get into the receiving mode. And what do you want from us? Are we supposed to be deliberate, or are we supposed to be allowing? And we say, here's the way we would do it if we were standing in your physical shoes. When you are feeling elation and joy and appreciation, focus with detail and clarity about what you want and let the momentum get stronger and stronger. But when you're in that questioning mode, when you're in that unsure mode, then don't step on the gas. In other words, if you're sure of where you're going, get more deliberate. Otherwise, become more general.
So the focus wheel that we were talking about earlier, is that a time to go into the focus wheel?
Maybe, but before we do that, do you think that you could, without taking a lot of time, tell us what in the hell you're talking about? We're trying to be playful and deliberately impertinent because we just want you to relax in all of this. I went to this spiritual leader and she swore 5 times from this day. What is this all about? What is this all about? What's going on here? Is there something that you want that you're not getting, that you're wanting this conversation to clarify for you?
I want to know for certain that when I feel a yes, that it is a yes, and I take steps towards it.
So give us more description.
Okay,
Where's the yes coming from? Is it written on a hidden piece of paper? Where's the yes coming from?
The yes is coming from, like, in a meditation, when I'm relaxed and I get...
So are you asking questions in meditation to which you want answers?
Not during meditation, but before meditation. Like,
don't do that. Because what's happening is you're taking your step oneness into meditation, and then you're just making up yeses, and that's why you're unsure about them. If you're taking a question into meditation, the question is active within you, and the answer can't get through that. And then you feel like you're not getting what you want to get, and so then you just try harder, which just blocks it off more. This is really going to help you. This subject is turning thoughts to things.